Hey everybody, Blaine Austin here at Sewing Machines Plus, and welcome to a Thursday live show. Hey, we got a great show lined up for you today. But before we start, I got to say a big shout out to some of the SMP Nation watching today. Hey, we have Brenda J up in Michigan. We have Ann Bucklendahl in Kansas. Linda Jacobs in Central California. Roxanne over in Kansas. We have Belinda Bryan down in Florida and Nana in Georgia. So thank y'all for watching today, and welcome to the show. Before we get our show started today, now we got Nicole Moore going to be here today, and we're going to talk all about a Juki machine, and we're going to talk about some AccuQuilt products, and going to do a little bit of quilting today. So hope y'all stick around for that. Nicole's fantastic, and we're super excited to have her part of the show today. But before we do that, we're going to talk a little bit about some of the dates. Now, next Thursday, y'all want to make sure you tune in because we're going to do our little pre-show of QuiltFest. And QuiltFest is March the 9th through the 3rd. March 10th, I'm sorry. March 10th through the 14th is QuiltFest. So on March 6th, next Thursday, we're going to have our QuiltFest preview show, and we're going to actually give you some previews of some of the things that we're going to be doing, and we're also going to extend the specials to you a week early on a few products. That way you're going to get the sneak peek, and we're going to have some specials for you, and it's going to be exclusively to the people on the show next week. And so you want to make sure y'all tune in for that and maybe catch some of those deals. And then the following week will be QuiltFest, and it's going to be the 10th through the 14th. It'll start Monday going all the way through Friday. And my co-host for the QuiltFest is going to be Jane Klaus. Now, she's going to be all the way till Thursday at noon. And Jane has another engagement she's got to go to. But we'll get her for at least 3.5 days. So that'll be good. Got to tell you a little bit about QuiltFest. Now, if y'all have never seen one of our QuiltFest or any of our festivals, they last a week long. They are Monday through Friday, and we stream live on multiple channels, but the main two are Facebook and YouTube. And we, basically we stream for about 7.5 hours a day. So it's an all-day show for 5 days. And we bring up about 30 different presenters. We have some educational sessions, an hour throughout each day. So it'll be basically 2 30-minute educational sessions. We've got a great lineup of educators for you this year as well. And then we'll be demonstrating products, and we'll have specials on every product that's on the show. There'll be some sort of special on it for you, celebrating National Quilting Month. And the other thing that we do is we have a contest. So it is open right now to submit a quilt. If you want to enter a quilt in our contest, it is open, and you can do that. And we have judges that are going to be on the show that are actually going to judge the quilt. And we're giving the top 3 places. You're going to win like one of those big red, white, and blue fair ribbons. They're kind of cool that you're going to win. Plus, first place is going to win the Golden Scissors Trophy that we always give away. And you're also going to win a prize package, which is pretty cool. And then we have a People's Choice Award, which basically it's whoever gets the most votes. So you can actually go on and vote. We're going to open it up for voting on March the 10th. We'll open it up for voting. You'll get to go vote that whole week up until, I think, Thursday, close of business. On Thursday, we'll shut the voting off, and then Friday, we'll announce all of our winners. But it's pretty cool that, even you can go out there and share it on your Facebook pages. You can promote it yourself, and whoever gets the most votes, basically it's a popularity contest. You're going to get a prize package and that Golden Scissors Trophy for all your hard work. But it's a great, great festival that we've put together. And guess what else? You don't have to put a quilt in to win. We're going to be giving prizes away every single day. And one lucky viewer is going to win a $25,000 Dream Studio giveaway that we'll give away on Friday. Now, how that works is all you have to do is participate in the show. If you haven't liked our Facebook page, go like it. If you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, go subscribe. And then during the show, all you have to do is make comments, ask questions, and it's going to enter you in all the prizes. Now, what we do every single day at the end of the day, on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we're going to pick a finalist to get in for the Dream Studio giveaway. So basically, we're going to pick a finalist on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday, we will pick a finalist late, kind of mid-afternoon. And then on Friday afternoon at end of show, we're going to draw a winner out of those 5 finalists that wins the Dream Studio giveaway. But here's the thing. You don't go home empty-handed. Every one of the top 5 are guaranteed to win a sewing machine. So that's the great thing about QuiltFest. We're going to be giving tons of things away, and we're going to have great specials, and you're going to get to see some really cool projects and quilting and some great education. So it's just going to be a fun time. Hope that you'll invite some of your friends that are quilters to come and join in, and then hope that you can make it as well. So that is QuiltFest. And I tell you what, our year is already just flying by. We are going to have, again, this year, if you want to mark this down, on April the 10th and 11th, we are going to have our Serger Soiree. And I hope I said that right, Michelle. My wife always gets on to me because I say soiree, but it's soiree. It's a party. And so anyway, we're going to have our Serger Soiree on 10th and 11th of April. And this year, the 2 days, we are highlighting all the baby lock sergers. So basically, it's going to be a baby lock showcase. And we're going to have, I think, either 4 or 5 sergers per day, like demonstrations from some of the top educators in the country with serging. And we're super excited about that. Then on May the 8th, it's going to be my birthday bash. We have one every single year. We have a ton of fun. We have a lot of trivia questions. You have a lot of ways that you can get to win prizes. And so for my birthday, I give a lot of presents away. I don't get them, I give them. And then we are in June 9th through the 13th is Hoop Fest. And we're going to already working on Hoop Fest really hard. And hopefully we're going to have another great festival for you. And so constantly working. Now, if you haven't checked out our Takeover Tuesday yet, y'all make sure y'all tune in on Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Pacific time, 12 p.m. Central. We have Takeover Tuesday, and basically you look at the 4 stars of the shows right there, left to right. We have Jane Klaus, we have Becky Thompson, we have Carly Bell, and we have Joanne Banco. Each one of them always brings something unique and different to the show, and they kind of rotate. So every Thursday or every Tuesday, you're going to get to see one of them, and they always have such good content. And so y'all make sure you tell your friends about this and tune in and get to check out what they're doing. And the schedule right now, we have on February the 20. What is the day's date? 27th. So this past Tuesday, we had Jane Klaus on Takeover Tuesday. Now on March the 4th, we have Becky Thompson going to be on there. And then Carly Bell will be March 18th. And then March 25th is Jane again. And then Joanne is going to be April 1st. So that'll be our schedule coming up and for the Takeover Tuesday. So y'all make sure y'all tune in for that. All right, we got to talk a little bit about Nicole Moore. Now, Nicole, she really wasn't even a serious sewer, and then she just kind of transitioned her way from a full-time corporate job all the way back in 2013. And I tell you what, she has not looked back. She has been doing all kinds of things on social media. She's done tons and tons of things in our industry. And I tell you what, and it's just seemed like she's been around forever, but she hasn't been around that long, since 2013. So y'all make a huge SMP Nation welcome to Nicole Moore.
Hey, everybody. Thanks so much, Blaine.
Hey, Nicole, how are you?
Here. I'm good. I just saw you at Road to California last month. It was good to see you.
I know. And, I think, have you been on our show before?
Yes, I was a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I was thinking it's been a few years since you've been here, and you know what I love about today is, you know, we're basically showing this Juki 4000 today. We're going to talk a little bit about. We're also kind of incorporating the AccuQuilt and how you can do some really cool things with this machine. And you know, Juki, as you know, they've got two of these versions. They've got the, you know, the kind of the special edition, expert edition they call it,
Yeah.
4000, and then they have the standard. And so either one of those, and I know people love the expert edition because of that silver color, that kind of platinum color.
Oh, yeah,
But
that's a
we're talking
special
about the
edition.
plain one today, correct?
Hmm. That's correct. I have the plain one, and I've used that for a couple of years, so
You
I
always say
just love it.
plain one, but it's pretty fancy.
Yeah, it is the top of the line for the Juki home sewing machines, so it's great.
All right. Well, hey, we're going to let you get going, and I'll see you back here in a few minutes. We'll tell everybody how they can get the products you're showing today.
Awesome. Thanks, Blaine. Well, like Blaine said, my name's Nicole and my company is So Much More. And I am a Juki brand ambassador. And what that means is that I just love Juki so much that I show it everywhere that I am. And I'm all over social media. And you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all the things, and YouTube as So Much More. And so, what I'm going to be showing you guys today is some things that like curved piecing. I want to take the mystique out of curved piecing, and I have several patterns that incorporate curved piecing. But then I've also along the way found some things to make it a little bit easier. One of the ways that we do curved piecing is we cut out the shapes and then we sew them together. And sometimes cutting them out can be tricky. And so that's why I loved to incorporate the AccuQuilt cutting system. I have a couple patterns that utilize the AccuQuilt cutting system. So if you don't have that system, it's okay. You can still work on curved piecing. But I did want to show you how much nicer it is to use that system for cutting. And then I'm also going to show you a little bit about the Juki DX-4000 QVP. Like Blaine said, it is the machine that I use. And there's a couple of features that I wanted to point out with that. And then, so I have a couple projects to show you. I have a curve piecing. This it's called a drunkard's path. And I know that sounds weird for you that aren't used to that name. If you put these together in a certain way, it kind of looks like a wiggly path, and so that's where that name comes up with the drunkard's path. And so there's an AccuQuilt die for that, and there's also an AccuQuilt cutting system that I'm going to show you, and the machine. So I have a little bit already recorded for you, just so I could get the angles just right and the lighting just right for you. So I have that queued up here, and I'm not sure if I'm supposed to hit play or if somebody else is going to do that. I think I can.
It
Oh, there we
is
go.
a
Thank you.
hand crank system, and I have the Drunkard's Path die. This is die number, well, I have it linked, so you'll have to check that out. But this does two different blocks here. This is the outside curve and the inside curve, and it does it twice. So the way this works is that you lay this on top of your AccuQuilt cutting system, and then you take your fabric and you place it over these dies. Now I'm going to cut just one, so I just need to cut I'm going to do this part right here in a darker color, and I'm going to do this part right here in a lighter color. And you can do 6 layers at a time, but just for this purpose, I'm going to do one. So I'm just going to lay it over that. And then I'm also going to, and yeah, it's covering that, but that's fine. I'm going to lay the darker one over this as well. And then I'm going to put this right here. This just puts sandwiches everything together. And then when you crank it through, it presses down, and there is some compression happening that helps cut the fabric. So I'm just going to run this through. Okay, so there is, well, I guess I have one of each, don't I? I've got the inside curve, and I also have the outside curve right here for both the dark and the light. And that is really, really quick. You can certainly use a paper template if you don't have the AccuQuilt cutting system, but the AccuQuilt cutting system makes quick work of cutting out these shapes. Like I said before, I should have pressed this fabric before I cut it, but I'm gonna go ahead and do that now before I pin these pieces together. When you do curved piecing, it's nice to have some fabric that is free of creases and wrinkles, because sometimes you need to make those creases in order to, you know, maybe like find the center. Now, because we've cut this with the AccuQuilt die, they've already given us a little notch right there in the middle for the center. So we don't need to fold the fabric to find the center. Now, this is how it should fit together. It doesn't look like it's going to fit, but remember, there is seam allowance involved. So what we're going to do is, these are solids, obviously, so there's no wrong side or right side, but when you sew curved piecing together like this, it's going to be right sides together. So we'll pretend these are prints, and we're going to flip this over, right sides together, and we're going to line up these notches right here. And I'm going to get my little pin cushion, and I'm going to use pins. So I'm just going to pin right there at that middle section, and then I'm going to turn my corner, my edge like this, and I'm going to secure it with a pin on this side, which might be a little different than you're used to, but in my experience, it's a helpful little pin. And then I'm going to pin again right here along the top. Now, one of the reasons I'm not pinning right at the corner is because that's where I'm going to start sewing, right there in the corner. Or maybe that's where I'm going to end. Either way, I don't want my pin to be in the way. So I'm just putting it a little ways from the corner. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to align that to the side and secure that with a sewing pin. And then I'm aligning the top as well. Now remember, these inside sections, or the inside of this curve, these are biased edges right along here. So they do have a lot of give in them. They might be a little bit more flexible than, you know, something that's straight of grain. So what we need to do is, with this large piece flat down on the surface, we're going to adjust these. I just like to bring them out, kind of bring them taut, if you will. And so you'll see that the bottom layer is laying flat. It still has the curve, but this top layer doesn't quite know where to sit. But I want to align it with the edge of that fabric where that curve is. So I'm going to bring it a little bit closer, and I'm going to stick a pin through there. Now I've got a wool pressing mat here, so that works out really well. And then I'm going to secure it like so. I'm going to do the same thing in the middle here. I'm going to pull it taut. See, I've got it taut and nice and flat on the bottom, and I've got a little bit of a bubble happening on the top, but I'm just going to straighten that out. I'm going to get a pin that I like. I like these little blue ones. I'm just going to grab it and move it up. See, I've got it just secured right there. And then I'm going to continue pinning it. There, so now we have some pins right where they need to be. And so the next thing that we're going to do is I'm going to move this up a little bit. Just a touch. There we go. We're going to use a 1/4 inch seam allowance, and we're going to start on one side and end on the other. And I'm going to back tack at both ends. Okay. Now, before I get started, I wanted to let you know that I'm using the Juki DX-4000. It's also called the Kokachi. And I'm using the plate that is a single needle hole. And let me show you a little bit closer what that means. So I'm going to take off this plate and show you the single needle hole and also the feed dogs that work in line with this plate. But before I do that, I'm going to disengage the walking foot. It's automatically back there, and you can engage it when you want. And I'm going to take off this foot. And I'm going to just use this key and pop off this plate. And you'll notice there's a single needle, which is perfect for piecing and is perfect for free motion quilting. So we're going to be doing some piecing, and also these feed dogs that come with it are right here. You can take those off. And the reason you can take these off is because if you're going to do some decorative stitching maybe later on in the process, you can change out this plate for an open toe foot, you know, for decorative stitching, and then you'll have a different feed dog system for that as well. So that's just one of the features of this machine. So you just pop that back into place. And I'm going to put this foot back on, and I'm going to pull down my walking foot because I like to have my walking foot when I'm piecing. Now, because I have the single needle hole plate on there, the only stitching that I can do is the straight line stitching. I normally would have hundreds of stitches to pick from over here, but because it knows that I only have the single opening, then I can only do a straight stitch. All right, let's go ahead and piece this. Now this part right here is going to be on the bottom. And this part right up here is just going to stay on the top, and we're going to start right here. Push the button to lower the feed dogs or lower the presser foot. And then I'm going to make sure that I do some back tacking, and I don't want to go super fast. So there's a little tortoise and a hare, and I'm going to just kind of go a little bit slower. I could speed up later if I felt like I wanted to. So get going. Now, I did want to pause every time I come to a needle. I'm not in the habit of running over those with my sewing needle. Now, I'm just coming up on these little curves here, and I'm adjusting this as I come to it. So just going to come up to that one, and I'm going to take out that needle. Now you can end your stitches with the needle in the up position or the down position, and for this it really works well if you leave the needle in the down position. So I'm going to continue sewing. Now you can see I got off a little off track over there. You can see there's too much fabric to the right of my foot, which means that my seam allowance is going to be off a little bit. But I've learned to live with grace, so I think it's going to be okay. So we're getting down to the end here. And I'm going to do some back tacking. I'm going to take out these pins that I had on the side, and we'll open this up, and it is magically pieced together. Well, there's really no magic to it. You saw how it all happened. It's pretty easy. Now we're going to press this. Now what I like about this block is that you don't have to do any trimming afterwards. This is the size that it should be after it's pieced, which is just not only saves you time when you're cutting, but it also saves you time after you're done piecing. There we go. Really, really simple. Now I know not everybody has the AccuQuilt cutting system, but this exact size works for the Turntables Quilt Pattern. And you'll see there's lots of these circles. Well, this is just a combination of 4 circles, and there's 3, and so forth. But this size works perfectly for this pattern. Now, if you don't have the if you don't have the AccuQuilt cutting system, my pattern also gives you the paper templates. So this is part of the PDF pattern and also included in the printed pattern. And what you'll do is that you'll use these to cut out your pieces instead of the AccuQuilt cutting system. Now I have other patterns that use the drunkard's path. If you see the shape of this tulip here in this pattern, you can see that there's 1, 2, 3, 4 drunkard's path that make up that tulip. Now this one does not work with the AccuQuilt cutting system, so you do have to use the paper template, and this is the size of that template. Let me show you what this finished table runner looks like. This is what the table runner looks like. As you can see, it's already quilted, but these finished blocks right here, they're just super cute. It makes the cutest springtime table runner. And I actually finished this quilting design. I have a Juki J350 long arm, and I used an edge-to-edge quilting design and some really cute green thread to finish this off.
Wasn't that fun? I just love curve piecing. When I first started to try curve piecing, I was actually intimidated by it. There's lots of different ways to do it. That was just one of the ways to do it. And truly, using the AccuQuilt cutting system makes the guesswork so easy. And as I mentioned, like this pattern right behind me is that turntables pattern that I was talking about, and it cuts exactly the size that you need for that die for this pattern, which is super handy. And then the table runner pattern that I was showing you there at the very end has a different set of templates, and those are paper templates. It's a smaller block, so it doesn't work with the AccuQuilt cutting system. So I wanted you to be aware of that, but it is super cute. Like here's that block that you saw me make, really, really simple. And then I wanted to show you close up here while we're live, another look at that table runner. This block you'll see is much smaller. See, here is just that square right, or that square that right here. So this is the 7-inch finished block that is made with the AccuQuilt system, and then here is just one of those blocks here. So it is considerably smaller. And so if you are new at sewing curves, I recommend starting with a larger block. Now I know that not everybody has an AccuQuilt cutting system, so if you want to try sewing curves, I have a free template for you. I think that I'm not sure how I can link that here, but there's a free download that has a couple of different sizes of the drunkard's path. And so you can kind of put those together. You can make it look like an upside down Pac-Man or like a circle, just lots of different things. You can even, try your hand at making a tulip. And so I have a quilt block. This is just a quilt block. This is bigger than the one in the table runner, but also curved piecing. This is a medium-sized one. I also have a really large one, which is fun. I have to back up. Super fun for spring, which I live in Kansas City, and so it's not quite spring yet. It was about 60 degrees the other day, so I'm super excited about spring, and sewing these type of things using curved piecing is super fun. Now, I loved using my DX 4000 QVP sewing machine to get those pieces together. It is Juki's top of the line sewing machine. Such a great machine to use. I saw lots of comments in the chat section about, yes, it's very quiet, and popping off that plate to make sure that you have the correct plate for the correct job was super simple. And it's just really intuitive. It's almost like working with a tablet on the side. You saw the front of it had just kind of like, it looks like a tablet, super easy to use. So and then I finished it with my Juki J350 long arm. I had an edge to edge design on there. It was really fun. I love using my long arm that has the robotics on it, because I can have something quilting behind me and turn around and sew on my sewing machine at the same time. It's just a great thing to do. So right now, if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer those. I'm just going to read through some of the comments, or if anybody wants to pop on here to see. We're talking lots of talk about the flowers, the tulips. Yes, that those patterns are both available on my shop. I think I linked one of them in here before. But yeah, Deborah had a question, is there a manual presser foot lifter? And yes, there is. There's one behind you can lift up manually. There's also a knee lift that you can plug in if you like to use the knee lift. And there is a button. And then the pedal, I wasn't using the sewing pedal. I'm not sure if you noticed that I kept pushing the button to start and stop. I don't like using the foot pedal. That's just me personally. I like to touch the button, the start and stop. But the pedal has a couple different things that you can program on it. So you can also program one of the pedals to lift up the presser foot up and down, which is a nice feature. So lots of things that you can do with this machine, not only of the hundreds of stitches that you can do, but you can, manage how this sews out for you. So that's a great question. Thanks for that. Let me send you the link to that template. So I have a free PDF template for you. I'm going to post that here in the chat. And what this is it gives you the template that looks like it's not exactly the same size as these were, that showed you from the back of my turntables pattern, but there are several different sizes there to get you going. You can practice using those to cut out. And if you do have an AccuQuilt cutting system, I recommend that you try that die. That die is great. They even have a smaller one, like a 3.5 inch, like a half the size AccuQuilt Drunkard's Path die. Just so much faster cutting and a lot more accurate. Even though, we have a template and we can, use our rotary cutter or use our scissors, it's super helpful. There's another question. Says, is that removable plate feed plate only specific to Juki brands? So that Juki machine comes with 2 different plates that are only for that machine and only for Juki. And one of the plates is the one I showed you that had that single needle hole, which is perfect for just piecing, and then also perfect for free motion quilting. And what's unique about that and what's great about that is that if you have a plate that has a wide open needle hole, that's perfect for like zigzags and decorative stitching and stuff like that. But if you're just piecing and if you're just free motion quilting, you want a smaller hole so that the fabric doesn't get bunched up or come down. And so that's why I had that plate on there. If I was going to do some decorative stitching or do some zigzag, I could change my plate and the feed dogs to that open needle hole plate. So that was a great question. It says, I can't afford or need the top of the line. What other machines would you suggest? Oh my gosh, it just really depends. Juki has a huge assortment of machines. So if you just want straight line stitching, they have a great TL model, which is perfect. It's a semi-industrial machine, has tremendous piercing power and goes really fast if you're just wanting to do a straight line stitch. If you want to do more, like if you have to have a zigzag, which sometimes like maybe 95% of the time we're straight line sewing, but sometimes we need a zigzag, then you can use any one of their other models. They have like a DX-2000 is a great option. But what I love about the DX-4000, it has an enormous throat. I'm sure you noticed how large that throat space was. It's a 12-inch throat, and it comes with a really big extension table, which makes it nice for free motion quilting, and it's great for piecing as well. So, but if you are looking for a more economical choice than the DX-2000 or the 3000, and then there are other models, there's lots of options there. So I would take a look at the website and just kind of look around, or you can even give them a call. If you're not local to go into the shop, you can give them a call and they'll be happy to recommend something for like what you normally would use something for. Is the DX-4000 good for bag making? That's a great question because Juki is known for its tremendous strength and reliability, and bag makers love Juki. They love Juki so much. The DX-4000 will make bags really well for you. I usually when I make a bag, I like to use my TL model because most of the times when I'm making a bag, I use a straight line stitch only. And sometimes when we're making bags, we have multiple layers, and you've got cork, vinyl, foam, quilters, cotton, and then all sorts of things happening all at once. And not that the DX-4000 can't handle those layers, because it certainly can, but I really love the TL models for making bags, specifically the TL18 QVP, because it has a micro lifter. But that's like a whole other story. I would love to talk more about the TL models, because, well, shoot, I can just talk about Jukis all day long. I just love them so much. So that's a great question. That's a great question. So it says, what are your top 3 AccuQuilt dies that you recommend for a beginner? The number one that I like is the long die that cuts your 2.5-inch strips. And I use when I bind a quilt, I cut 2.5-inch strips. And so that is a really quick and easy way to make your binding strips. So that's a good one to have. And then I also love to do like little sewing projects. So my current favorite, and they come out with new dies all the time, and I'm an AccuQuilt go-getter, which means that I work with AccuQuilt and they send me their new dies and I get to try them out, which is so fun. And they sent me the die for the bucket hat. I'm not sure if you've seen that. That is a really fun project to do, super fast. All you need to do is SF101, some fat quarters, and Bob your uncle, you have a bucket hat already cut out and ready to put together. That's a fun one. And then over the holidays, they came out with the tea towel topper die, which was so fun. And everybody in the family got a tea towel or a tea towel topper, the kind that you hang on your oven handle. That was so fun. There's so many great dies to use. They have all sorts of, like, for quilt blocks and things like that. But when I design quilt patterns, I'm always like, can I use an AccuQuilt die for this quilt? And if I can, I'm definitely going to tell you about it, because it makes the cutting and so much more accurate and quick. So yeah, here's another. I really want a Juki TL, but I need to know. Okay, let me read that again. I really want the TL, but do I need it if I already have the NX7? That's a great question. So, the NX7 is a great machine, really great machine. But the nice thing about the TL model is that it is super fast. It does 1,500 stitches per minute, right? Has tremendous piercing power because it is a semi-industrial machine. Like, it's all metal. It's not light. It's like 23, 27 pounds, something like that. And it is a tremendous machine. You see people, like, I go to shows all the time. I was just saying that I saw Blaine at Road California. I just came back from QuiltCon, and I'm going to Florida, Lakeland, Florida next in 2 weeks. And everybody comes up to me in the Juki booth and is like, I love my Juki TL model. And they might have another model too, but they're like, I always piece with that machine, and I always make my bags with my machine. And it is just a you know, you don't have to mess with the tension. I could go on and on about the TO models. They are really probably one of the most popular models that Juki has come out with in a long time. So that's a great question. Do they make one that would sew clothing rope for baskets? So like the rope baskets. So not a semi-industrial like the one we were talking about. The TL models is just straight stitch only, and usually for the rope baskets you need to have a zigzag. And so you can use the DX-4000 for that. You can use any of their domestic machines that don't just have the straight stitch. Because I don't make a lot of rope bowls, but when I have, you always have to use the zigzag stitch. So you're going to want a machine to use the zigzag stitch. And the DX-4000 will do a really nice job for that too. And I love it because it has that extension table. And, you know, depending on how big your rope bowl is or whatever type of rope project that you're making, it's nice to have that extra table space. So that's a great question. I love that. What is the die for the 7-inch drunkard path? So I think that I wrote it down because I knew somebody would ask that question. The AccuQuilt die number is 55034. And they have that at Sewing Machines Plus, where you can just get it from them. And I think that they have, I'm not sure, they were talking about like a show special or something like that with that die. So they have those available for you to purchase. And I would recommend. It looks like you'll need the AccuQuilt Go machine. So like if you have the Go Me, the little one, the 7-inch won't work with that one. So this is the larger die. So you need the AccuQuilt Go cutting system for that. Or you can do the one that's electric, and it'll also fit this die. So this is, what did I say? 55 something? 55034 is the number for this die. So that's a great question. I couldn't remember it because it came off, but I labeled it Drunkard's Path. So can you put SF101 in your fabric before using the die? That's a great question. Yes, you can. And you can also, like a lot of times they have dies that are just for like applique. And I love adding like little embellishments on things. Like I told you, I did that tea towel topper thing. And there's a whole bunch of like little cute, like a butterfly or a heart, or coming up for St. Patrick's Day, you can do a clover. And I love using those AccuQuilt dies. And before I cut them, I put on like that double-sided fusible stuff where you can iron it on one side and then peel it off and then just iron it down. You can do that, you know, have all of your fabric already ready with either SF101 or with any kind of like fusible stuff, and then cut it through, which makes really quick work of things. But you can do like they say 6 layers of quilter's cotton, as far as, you know, the amount of depth or the thickness that it'll go through. But you can even cut like paper if you want to. You can cut, I've cut foam, you know, not a whole bunch. Like I made Christmas stockings. They have a stocking die, and I'm in church choir. And so I did a stocking for every one of my choir men. There was like 11 or 12 of us in the group. And I used already quilted fabric, and then I cut it out that way. So you can do like, I had quilter's cotton with batting already quilted on there and just ran it through. So it handles a lot. You know, it says not more than 6, but I've done more than that. So that's a great question. What, curious if Pro Stitch are light? That's a great question. So the Juki J350 works with Quilters Select, and I think we're on version 6 now. And so you can use, it does not work with Pro Stitcher Lite, but it does work with Quilter Select, and it comes with a lot of block patterns and some continuous pantographs already in the software, and then you can upgrade and add a subscription where that they can like every month give you more, and or you can like and kind of try to find an edge to edge that matches kind of what my quilt is about, or maybe the opposite. Like if I have, see all these curves and stuff behind me, I decided to do straight line quilting just so that it wouldn't take away from the design of the quilt. So yeah, that the Juki J350 uses Quilter Select. I think we're on 6 now, so that's a great question. Where can we find you and have great ideas that we need to know about? Thank you. So all over social media, and my website is SewMuchMoore.com. So SewMuchMoore, because my last name is Moore. And I'm usually on Instagram and stories and Facebook. And then I do swaps. Like today is the last day to sign up for the table runner swap. And then I do quilt-alongs. We're doing a bunny ear quilt-along that's happening in March. I host retreats, and then I travel all over the country and get to talk to people about quilting. It's like the best thing ever. So I at a show one day. There's a section on my website about events, and you can find my in-person event schedule, and I do lectures and workshops and things like that. So that's a great question. Thank you. Well, if you don't have any, I think die. And it is smaller, so that will probably fit for the Go Me. I use that for like a mini version of the turntables. I'm about to release the Turntables Mini, and one of my friends that had made this pattern used her leftovers from this pattern and made it with the small one. And she had to buy a couple, like maybe an eighth of a yard of more yellow on here than anything. But anyway, it was kind of a fun discovery that you can make 2 quilts out of, the leftovers from the first one. So, but yeah, the 3.5-inch die is, I think, perfect size for the mini AccuQuilt cutting system. So that's a great question. Thank you. So yeah, curves are fun. Paula was saying curves are fun. I agree. So thanks so much, Blaine, for having me on.
Well, hey, it was great. And, I tell you what, AccuQuilt dies. We were at Road to California. We had the AccuQuilt booth there. And I don't know if you got a chance to talk to any of the ladies over there, but, the one lady that was in the booth, she has over 200 dies.
That's amazing.
I know.
That's
I was so
amazing.
blown away by that.
Yeah. Yeah. I have quite a collection myself, and I have like a shelf dedicated for that. And then, every time I get a new one, I'm like, boy, this is growing. This is growing. But it's so nice to have those available. And it just makes like I was saying earlier that I host workshops. And so it's just fun to bring the system, and everyone can use the die to make like a bucket hat or a tea top, a tea topper or something like that. So yeah, it's just a great system and a great way to cut out your quilts and just get you finishing faster.
And I've been around the AccuQuilt for many, many years now. And I remember when they first came out, and then, they kept advancing the cutters, and then they finally came out with electric one. And, that to me was the game changer. A
I
lot of
agree.
people love, most of them are hand crank. If anybody doesn't know what we're talking about, they're hand crank machines that you just run the dies through. And but they came out the electric one. But a lot of people don't even know how they work either. So if you could, while we have you, could you explain a little bit how the blades are embedded in the die, and kind of how that pressure makes it cut so good?
Yeah, and I'm not sure if you can see, but you see that there's a light
Here,
gray,
go
and then there's this darkness
real
right
screen so we
here.
can see it.
Yeah.
There
And
we go.
so right here, and it's not going to cut me or cut you, but there is a piece of metal in between these two different colors right here. And if I push down, then I can feel it. It's not going to cut me. But that's why and I don't have my little cover over here, but I put the fabric down and then you put that plastic cover up. And then when you run it through, it presses down, and it presses down so hard that it actually just cuts the fabric. It's funny because you'd think if I push down here, I guess if I push down hard enough, I mean, I can't. I'm pushing really hard and I'm not cutting myself. But when you push it through that cranking system or that electric die system, like you were mentioning, it gives enough pressure to actually cut the fabric exactly and perfectly and quickly. So that's how those dies work. Hopefully that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, that was a good job explaining that. So I just want everybody to kind of know that because that's what makes it cut so well. And I tell you what, every quilter should need one of these. And we've got the whole lineup of dies and all the cutters. So
That's great.
we'll tell them how they can get that. But, Nicole, thank you so much for coming on the show again.
Yeah.
And always it's a pleasure to see you. And it's been great. And hopefully we'll have you again real soon.
I'd love to, Blaine. Thank you so much.
Okay. Talk to you later. All right. Thank you to Nicole Moore for coming on. I hope y'all enjoyed that. She is so good at all that. And, one of the things that she was talking about was, the Juki. And I know some of the questions you had up there, but I'll just tell you right off the top, if you can't, if it's the 4,000 is not in your budget, I tell you a great alternative is the Juki 2010. And if y'all don't have one out there, go check that out, because I tell you, it's a straight stitch machine, but it is a workhorse and it's super, super fast. So if you just want something straight stitch that you want to just do straight lines, that's a great alternative, and it's very inexpensive. All right, so we are going to show you a little bit of what we have. So let's put the 4,000 up there. We do have a call-in special on the 4,000. And you see the S&P live pricing is $39.99. Now, what we're going to tell you about this machine is not only do we have this one, we also have that Expert Edition, which is a silver platinum color. And we have both of those in stock, ready to go. So either one of those, we have a call-in special on it. So if you want to check out the Jukis, give the call center a call right now at 800-401-8151, and they can answer all the questions you have about the Juki machines. Now, if there's something else that, there's another Juki you're interested in that's not on this show, now you can also call them about that. So let's just say you wanted a TL18, or you wanted a TL15, or the 2010, or the DX-4000, any of those machines, give them a call and they can talk to you about it. Now, right there, you see, we're looking at this as the standard edition. This is such a good looking machine, especially with that big LCD display on it. And then it comes with the table and all that. So give them a call. We have free shipping nationwide for you. And we also have some financing available to help you get some lower payments on that. All right, next up was the dies that we saw today. Now, this one is that they call it the drunkard's path, and it's a 7-inch finished die. And that's that big one that she was showing you. She had the pattern on there, or the quilts on it already, or the fabric, I'm sorry, on it. And she was showing you how the blades were. That was the one that she was showing you. Again, S&P live pricing is $74.99. We do have a call-in special on all AccuQuilt. So any of the dies right now, or any of the machines, we have a call-in special on it. So if you've been wanting to get in to AccuQuilt and you've been thinking about it for a while, now's the time to get on that and do it. Get on that phone right now and call them and ask them all about the AccuQuilt dies and the machines, and they can help you out. If you just want to go check them out, you can go to our website at SewingMachinesPlus.com. Up in the search bar, just put AccuQuilt. It'll take you to the AccuQuilt page, and you can see all the different dies and all the machines. The next one that we showed, or the next one that Nicole showed. Do you have another overlay, Andrew?
We have these guys. I don't think she showed these.
Oh, did she not show them? Okay, I thought she did. All right, so we also have these again, but these are the 9-inch finished dies. but we have a ton of dies. So again, I'm just going to throw it out there. If you are interested in getting one of these dies, or you're interested in getting a machine, you know, the AccuQuilt machines, the cutters, go right now to that page. You know, just type it in the search bar. Go check them all out. If you have any questions, give them a call. If you want the call-in special, you have to call in on the phone today to get the specials on all the AccuQuilt products and the Juki machines. And again, if that machine, if you're looking at something, it's not the DX-4000 QVP. If that's a little out of your price range and you just want something that's going to do straight stitch or even zigzag, give them the call. They can get you in a one, because we have a full lineup of Juki machines. And like Nicole was talking about, these things are, you know, they come from the industrial world. They're made to sew, and they are made to sew heavy duty stuff. And I think even on one of my shows one time, I did a demonstration on the 2010 and showed, you know, how I think we did 12 layers of denim that we sewed through, and it did it with ease. So that's how great the penetration power of all the Juki machines are. And we're super excited to have both of these here for you today. So any one of these, give them a call at 800-401-8151 and tell them what you're looking for, and they will help you out. All right. So that concludes our show today. Hope y'all enjoyed Nicole being on. And I got to ask real quick, I saw there was some new people out there today. So if this is your first time seeing our show, you're new, put a number 1 in the chat right now, because I'm kind of curious to see how many newbies we have out there. And go ahead and put a number 1 in the chat right now. If this is your first time, you're brand new. All right. So what I want to do, is there getting any ones in there, Andrew?
Only a few. So we got
Only a few?
gotta wait a bit.
All right. So go ahead. If this is your first time watching our show and you're brand new to the channel, and you want to be part of the SMP Nation, there we go. Put a number 1 in that chat right now, because if you've been around here for a while, you're already part of the SMP Nation. But if you're new, it's the first time you're here, we want to invite you to join the group. And we got a great group of customers out there that watch, and they are always willing to help you and answer questions for you. So we have a great community here. So how many, we have some ones came in, Andrew?
Yeah, a few, yeah.
All right, so what I'm going to do, the people who put a number 1 in, we're going to do a little special drawing for a $25 gift card to SMP. So Andrew, spin that wheel. Here we go. Not very many. Sharon Dingle. Now, I don't think Sharon's next. I think I remember that name. All right, Sharon, we're going to give you a $25 gift card anyway. You snuck one in on us. So Sharon, what we need you to do is go to smplive.tv to claim your prize. You're going to scroll down toward the bottom of that page where it says claim my prize, fill out all that information complete, hit submit. And once we get that in, we will email you back a gift card code, and you can just throw that code in the checkout, and it'll save you $25 off any of your purchases. All right, so we're going to open it up to everybody now. And so let's do one more of these gift cards. You don't have to put a number 1 in this time, Andrew. You can just let it, anybody who's watched the show today will be eligible. So spin that wheel. Jill Sweet. Jill is watching today from YouTube, so congratulations, Jill. You just won yourself a $25 gift card. And how we need you to claim that prize is go to smplive.tv. Scroll down toward the bottom of the page where it says claim my prize, fill out all that information complete, hit submit. Once we get that in, we will email you back a gift card code that all you have to do is put it in at checkout, and it'll save you $25 off the purchase. All right, next up, we are going to give away one of our world famous sewing mats. Now, these, if you don't have one of these on your machine right now, I'm telling you, you're doing your machine a disservice. Get on the internet, look these over, pick you a color out, and get you one of these for your machine. They come in 4 different sizes. Now, some of them come in 5 different sizes. We have the the blue, gold, and red coming in the double X size, which is for those brand new, Bernina, Baby Lock, Brother, Thoth, and Viking and Janome machines. The big top of the line, big machines. The extra large size will fit those, and they're on their way as we speak. I think they got shipped out yesterday from the manufacturer, and we'll have those. But all the rest of them are in stock. So we're gonna let you pick your color and your size. So Andrew, spin that wheel. Diane Williams, watching today from Facebook. So congratulations, Diane. So Diane, how to claim that prize, go to smplive.tv, scroll down toward the bottom of the page where it says claim my prize, fill out all that information complete, and most importantly, in the little note section, put what color of sew mat you want and what size. And once we get that information, we will get it shipped out to you. Now, if y'all want to know the dimensions of the sizes, just go type in sew mats in the search bar at SewingMachinesPlus.com at the top. It'll take you to all the mat pages, and you can look at the sizes and see the dimensions. That way you can make sure you get your right size. All right, next up, we are going to give away a Brother P-Touch, and this is that P-Touch Embellishment Elite. This is a $130 value, and not only are you going to win this, we are going to throw in about $100 worth of tape for you as well to go with it. And this thing is really cool. It works off an app that you put on your smartphone, and basically you do all your writing and stuff in the smartphone and just hit print, and it just prints it right out to your P-Touch. These are awesome to have, and so we're going to give one lucky viewer one of these. So Andrew, spin that wheel. Erin Potts. So congratulations, Erin. She is watching today from YouTube. So Erin, what we need you to do to claim that prize is go to smplive.tv, scroll down toward the bottom of the page where it says claim my prize, fill out all that information complete, hit submit, and then once we get that information in, we'll get it shipped right out to you. All right, guys, that completes our show today. Thank y'all for joining in and sticking around. We hope that y'all come back next Thursday. Next Thursday, we're going to have our preview show for QuiltFest. You don't want to miss it. And then Tuesday next week, you want to make sure you come and do the Takeover Tuesday and check that out. Both shows will start at 10 a.m. Pacific time, 12 p.m. Central, and I hope you'll join in. So hope that y'all have a great rest of your day. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next Thursday. Hey, are y'all still here? Andrew, they're still here.
Still here.
I thought y'all were, the show's over. You know what? Since you're still here, let's give something else away.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Let's give another P-Touch. What do you think?
P-Touch.
All right. Spin that wheel. Marge Burkheiser. So Marge is our winner. Watching today from YouTube. Congratulations, Marge. You just won yourself a P-Touch just for hanging around after the show. Marge, how you want to claim that prize, go to smplive.tv. Scroll down toward the bottom of the page where it says claim my prize. Fill out all that information complete, and we will send you a P-Touch with $100 worth of tape. So you're going to have a great package. And thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for sticking around. Hope this was fun. We'll see y'all again soon.